else. So the very important thing which we have to concentrate on is that when qital was prohibited, even defensive warfare and taking up of arms to stop the aggression against you, that was prohibited. In Meccan period, 5 verses of jihad were revealed. 5 verses of jihad were revealed in Mecca, when the companions were not allowed even to take up the arms for their individual self-defense. In those days, the commandment of jihad was there. So this fact makes everything clear that the commandment of jihad was in Meccan period, in practice, when taking up arms for your self-defense was forbidden even. So those 5 verses which were revealed, they were from Surah Al-Furqan 52, Ankabut 6, Ankabut 8, Ankabut 69 and Luqman 15. These were 5 verses which were revealed in Mecca when Holy Prophet ﷺ and Quran and Sunnah, they totally had already banned to take up the arms for your self-defense. And when you take up the arms for your self-defense, then there are the conditions, specific conditions. And you can't take up the arms, you can't fight the lawful concept of jihad. There are certain conditions which you are supposed to fulfill. If you don't fulfill those prerequisites and conditions, then jihad is not jihad. Jihad means qital, the warfare. Lawful warfare, it converts into act of terrorism. Number 1, not a single individual or a group of individuals or an organization is allowed to take up the arms in any case. This is the first condition. There is a unanimity of opinion. I have made a full chapter on this subject, and Holy Prophet has declared it categorically in Muslim, Sahih Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Sunan, Bayhaqi, every book of hadith contains the chapter, that only this is a privilege or right of the state to declare a warfare. Just or unjust, this is a separate question now. But it would be according to Islam if it is for just cause, for your self-defense. So this is the privilege and right of the state, of the governments. This is a matter between state to state and government to government. Not a single individual is allowed to do that. First condition. Number 2, there is no warfare or act of killing against non-combatants. Absolutely no. Just against combatants. So all suicide bombings being committed in any part of the world becomes totally haram and against the commandments of Quran and Sunnah. Suicide is also haram. So it combines 2 kinds of acts of haram. It is haram, killing your own self. And then it is a killing of mankind too. So 2 basic conditions. The third, there should be a just cause. And the just cause, I have already explained. If we go through the Holy Quran, the specific causes are either 1 is your self-defense. You can fight only for your self-defense. It comes in Holy Quran, just to quote Surah Al-Baqarah 190. Self-defense. Number 2, fighting against violence, brutality, and terrorism. This is the second objective. And this has been declared, this terrorism and brutality, violence has been declared as fitna. To make peace and harmony, to restore the peace and harmony, and to eliminate the fitna. So this comes in Baqarah 193 and Anfal 39. Second objective of the lawful war. Third, to help the oppressed people. As all these things are permissible in United Nations charters. To help the oppressed people where there is abuse of human rights. As it was done in case of Iraq or particularly in case of Kosovo. When Security Council resolutions from 1199 to 1244 were passed, where the law was passed for collective intervention in order to stop the abuse of human rights. The UNO Security Council, dozens of, after Iraq war in 1990 and then 92, in many occasions. And then this thing prevailed, the sovereignty of light, and before that sovereignty concept used to prevail on everything. Then human rights became the more forceful concept. So you are allowed to interfere with collectively. That's why the NATO forces interfere with that. And this is being carried on up till today. So in the same way, if there is abuse of human rights, the people are being killed, persecution is going on, oppression is going on, violence and brutality and act is being carried on, to stop them, This is the third objective. And this thing comes in Surah An-Nisa, verse 75. Then again, fourth is, again if there two states were at war, and then there was a truce, treaty of peace, and that other country breached the treaty of peace, and by that breach of peace, the state of war was restored again, and they were planning to attack you, so this is a preemptive war to save yourself in your self-defense. But again, this is not an offensive war. So this one, again, it is quoted in Surah Anfal, verse number 39. And in spite of all these four basic objectives of war, up till Surah Tawbah, and here comes some people mention and quote the verse of sword of Surah At-Tawbah. And some people wrongly consider that the Surah At-Tawbah, the particular verse known as verse of sword, that repealed and abrogated all verses which I have mentioned and quoted before. That is again totally wrong. We have to go to the tafasir. We have to go to the books of history to understand. That verse was again revealed just in connection of breach of peace which was done by the Meccans. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah, breach of peace. Because those people, the Meccans, they had a truce for 10 years, total 10 years, and there was a total agreement that neither any country would attack on each other, nor they will help any other their allies. So they supported Banu Bakr. There was a tribe who was the ally of Meccans. They fought against the allies of Medinans. And they not only supported them with swords and everything, Banu Bakr, they attacked on Banu Khaza'ah. Banu Khaza'ah was an allied tribe of Medina. And Banu Bakr was an allied tribe of Mecca. So it was categorically written that they won't be allowed to support in any war against the allies of each other. Allies will also enjoy the same protection and peace. So Meccans supported them with money, with arms, and they participated physically in the war, in attack against Banu Khaza'ah. And this is how the Treaty of Peace of Hudaybiyah was breached. So after this breach of Treaty of Hudaybiyah, that war was, that verse of Surah At-Tawbah, which is known as verse of sword, was revealed. And this was revealed that because after breach of Treaty of Hudaybiyah, Makkah and Medina, again, Makkah restored its position as a state of war. Because it was suspended for 10 years by a treaty. When they broke the treaty, so it means by their act of breach, they restored again the state of war. They were again on the war position as they used to be, because they were always attacking Medina. They attacked in Badr, they attacked in Uhud, they attacked in Hudaybiyah, about 40 to 60 wars which were imposed on Holy Prophet and on Medina. None of them, about 80 wars, where he had to be involved, where he was forced to participate, directly or indirectly, none of them was inoffensive. He was always on defensive front, always on defensive front. Because most of the wars were, war of trench, it was fought on the borders of Medina when trench was dug. Uhud was fought in the 2 miles away from city of Medina. They were about to enter into Medina, where there was a defensive war. So when they restored the position, the state of war, only then this verse was revealed. So this verse was revealed, it was absolutely no abrogation. There was no abrogation here. This was just mentioning of them, since the treaty of peace is breached, now if they attack on you or they do preparations of attack, now you are allowed to fight them when they fight you. So it was the restoration of the concept of fight by their breach of treaty of peace. So this verse of sword has nothing to do with the abrogation, because establishment of peace, this order continued till the last day of the life of Holy Prophet. And finally, the concept of jihad requires the cause should be just. It should not be waged by an individual or any group, and it should not be fought against non-combatants, and moreover there should be proportionality. La ta'tadu. وَقَاتِلُوا الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا. Everywhere in Quran it is mentioned. You are allowed to fight them who have already imposed war on you, but don't transgress the limits. The conditions, those acts which have been declared to be forbidden on you, don't transgress and don't cross the limits. Meaning thereby, don't demolish their population, don't cut the trees, don't burn the trees, don't demolish the churches, don't kill the women, the priests, the monks, and all those prohibitions which were done. And don't do any kind of act of brutality with the enemy's dead bodies. So this was don't transgress. So your action should be in a proportion according to their act. And it should, so a proper Islamic conduct of warfare was given by the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and the same was practiced by the companions.